it's officially time. Hi, my name is Amber Langford, and welcome to Stretch Break. For today's stretch class, we will be using our chairs. We are going to begin in a standing position. And for our chairs, I do recommend that you have a stable chair with you today. A stable chair is one that ideally does not have any wheels or does not move around on you. If you do have wheels on your chair and you're able to lock them, I ask that you please do so. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to begin with some footwork today. For our footwork, I recommend to get the full extent of the exercise that you do remove your shoes. Not required, but I do recommend that you remove them if you're able to. Otherwise, we're just going to start with our hands resting on the back of our chair, and we're going to do some slow prancing exercises to start. For our slow prancing, we're going to take one leg. We're going to bend our knee, lifting our heel up off the ground, pressing those toes down into the floor. We're going to keep that heel lifted, and then we're going to slowly straighten our knee, lifting that other heel off the ground, and then lower, switching sides. So now my other leg is bent, that heel is still lifted. We're going to alternate side to side. So we lift both heels up and then lower, placing one heel down. Trying to work through that full range of motion, actively pressing the bottom of our toes into the ground, feeling a little bit of a stretch down the bottom of our foot. We're also getting just a little bit of calf work here. Let's do one more to each side. Keeping that leg bent, heel lifted, we're going to slowly roll our toes over. So now the tops of our toes are pressing down into the ground, ankles pressing forward. So we're feeling that stretch now in the front of your ankle, maybe even up into your shins. Still holding onto that chair for balance. You can do a little bit of posture work, pulling those shoulders down away from our ears, standing tall. We're just going to hold this stretch for a few more breaths. And let's switch sides, bending that other leg, rolling those toes over so the tops of our toes are pressing down into the ground, ankles pressing forward, feeling that stretch in the front of our ankle, maybe even up into our shin. One more deep breath here. And then lowering that foot down, keeping those hands on the back of your chair. You're going to slowly walk your feet back, dropping those shoulders down towards the ground. We're going into our puppy pose here. In this position, our hips are stacked right over those ankles, and you can keep just a soft knee bend here. Trying to lower that chest to the ground, feeling that open in your shoulders, maybe even getting a little bit of a lat stretch. Sinking deeper into that stretch with each breath. Holding this position, we're going to add some knee bends. So we're going to bend those knees and then straighten them out. We're bending both knees at the same time, almost like we're doing just a little mini squat position before we stand. As we straighten those legs out, you should feel just a little bit of a stretch down the back of your leg. We're going to do one more here, and then we're going to alternate our knee bends. So one knee stays straight, one bends, getting a little bit of rotation through your hips, and then you switch, alternating side to side. Working on that mobility here through our hips and our low back. Let's do one more, each side, and then we're going to slowly walk those feet in. Switching, we're going to really open up that side body next. So we're going to do a single arm lat stretch using our chair. I do have a couple of variations for this because we're using our chair. For example, mine is a little bit of a harder surface. So if you would like just a little bit more cushion, you can feel free to put a towel or a blanket over the back of your chair for some cushion. Otherwise, I do have another variation where we will not be using the chair. But I want everyone to take their arms. You're going to place right above that elbow on your chair, walking those feet back slightly. We're going to drop that shoulder down towards the ground. The back of your hand can rest on your head, but we're really trying to almost press that side down towards the ground, opening up that lat here. You can be in a little bit of a staggered stance if you're more comfortable with that, but I do recommend keeping a nice little knee bend. If this is uncomfortable on your arm, you can just do a standing single arm lat stretch by doing that nice side body stretch here, bringing that right arm up and over towards the left, making that nice C shape. We're just going to hold here for a few more deep breaths. And relaxing out of that, we will switch sides. So switching arms on that chair, placing that right above that elbow on the back of your chair. Hands placed on the back of your head, sinking down, really opening up that side body here. Getting a little bit of rotation. Or doing our standing side body stretch, reaching up and over towards the right with that left arm. Let's hold this for just one more deep breath. Exhale, standing back up nice and tall. We're going to remain standing, but we're going to switch and we're going to be using the seat of our chair next. We're going to do a standing hip flexor stretch. Same thing, I have a couple of variations depending on what is comfortable. But we're going to, if we're able to, place one hand on the back of your chair for balance. With one leg, we're going to pick it up, place it right on the seat of our chair. Hips are facing forward. We're going to slowly go into a little bit of a standing lunge, opening up that hip flexor, keeping that bottom leg nice and straight. If you are unable to get your foot all the way onto your chair, you can feel free to go into a little bit of a standing lunge. So similar positions, hips are square, pressing forward, really focusing on opening up that hip on that back leg. Making sure your chest stays nice and upright. Sinking deeper into the lunge with each breath. One more deep breath. Exhale, stand, lowering that foot to the ground, and then switching sides by either placing that other leg up on the seat of your chair or stepping back into your lunge, pressing those hips forward and opening up that hip flexor in the front. One more deep breath here. And exhale, standing back up nice and tall. Bringing those feet together. We're going to switch to our seated position next. In our seated position, I want you to make sure that your feet are flat on the ground. We're going to work on some shoulder rotation first. We're going to be doing a single arm stretch. So we'll start with that right arm first, sitting up nice and tall. You're going to bring that right arm up into that field goal position. So your elbow is up at shoulder height. Your fingers are starting pointing up towards that ceiling. We're going to slowly rotate that hand down towards the ground. Keeping that elbow up at shoulder height. We're rotating as far as we can, and then we're just going to hold, letting gravity kind of pull that hand down. If you would like some support for your elbow, you can bring that arm in, elbow still at shoulder height, placing the other hand just underneath your arm for a little bit of support, and then adding that rotation. We're just going to hold this for a few more deep breaths. And lifting back up. Slowly lowering down and switching sides. Other arm up. Field goal position. Slowly rotating that hand down towards the ground. Getting as much rotation through that shoulder joint as is comfortable. Or bringing that arm in, adding some support with that opposite hand before adding that rotation. One more deep breath. Lifting that arm up, lowering it down. We're going to switch to our external rotation next. For this one, we'll keep our elbows in at our sides, starting with our right arm. We're going to begin with our palm facing away from our body. Elbow is tucked in at your side. You're going to bend your elbow so your hand is up at elbow height. From here, you're just going to pull that hand back. You can also feel that shoulder blade start to pull in towards your spine, getting a little bit of a chest opener here as well. But we're just going to hold and breathe. Trying to get just a little bit more rotation with each breath. One last deep breath here. And relaxing out of that, lowering that right hand down. Switching sides, palm is facing away, bending at the elbow, and then pulling that hand back. Externally rotating through your shoulder, feeling that chest open a little bit, shoulder blade pulls in towards your spine. One more deep breath here. And exhale, bringing that arm in, lowering it down. We're going to end with some neck stretches next. In all of our neck stretches, I want your shoulders pulling down away from your ears. Hands can rest on your thighs. We're going to start first by bringing that chin down towards our chest. Looking down towards the ground. We're just going to hold each stretch here for 2 deep breaths. After that last breath, you will then rotate, bringing that left ear to left shoulder, opening that right side of your neck. 2 deep breaths. Rotating back, looking up towards the ceiling. 2 breaths. And then rolling over to that last side, right ear to right shoulder, opening up that left side of your neck. Last breath here. Lifting your head back up to its neutral position. And that is all the stretches I have for you all today. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your day and see you all next time.